You know, it's pretty amazing to think that one single event, way back in the book of Genesis, could spark a debate that's been going on for thousands of years. It's a huge conversation about sin, about death, and really about what our ultimate destiny is even all about. And it all boils down to one powerful verse. And this is it. This is where it all kicks off. A curse. But not just on people. It's a curse on the ground itself. This one sentence right here sets the stage for a massive theological mystery. What did this curse actually do to the world? All right, so let's dive into that. First up, what were the immediate tangible consequences? What actually changed right there in that moment, according to the text? Well, the fallout was huge. Suddenly, the ground itself starts fighting back, sprouting thorns and thistles. Work isn't just work anymore. It's painful toil. Our physical bodies are fundamentally changed. They now get old, they decay, and they eventually go back to being dust. But maybe the biggest change was the one on the inside. This new internal conflict popped up, something the source calls the desires of the flesh. And this wasn't just in humans. It arose in all living things. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of the matter, the question that people have been wrestling with for centuries. Just how far did this curse actually reach? What was its true scope? Here's the core question, really. Was the curse a purely spiritual thing? Was it just about introducing that inner conflict, the desire of the flesh? Or did it go deeper? Did it fundamentally change physical reality itself? Did it actually introduce the very idea of physical death and decay into a world that had never, ever seen it before? So you've got two major schools of thought here. On one side, you have the view that the curse was spiritual. In this frame of events, physical death for animals and plants was always part of the deal, just the natural order of things. The curse then was really about our internal spiritual corruption. But on the other side, you have the view that the curse was both physical and spiritual. This group argues that before the fall, nothing died. There was no decay anywhere. The curse is what brought physical death to the entire system, for everything. But the changes didn't stop there. This wasn't just about the physical and spiritual state of creation. The curse also set off this massive shift in cosmic power. You can really think of it like a domino effect. First, Adam's sin. That knocks over the next domino, the curse on all creation. The curse then leads to Adam losing his job, basically, his God-given authority over the earth. And of course, that creates a huge power vacuum, which is filled almost instantly. Satan steps in and effectively becomes the new ruler of this fallen world. And whenever there's a change in leadership, the rules of the game change too. The world went from being a place of divine order to, something else entirely. It became a kingdom governed by a new law, the survival of the fittest. A world of violence, predation, and constant struggle. Now here's where it gets really, really interesting. How you see that original curse completely changes how you picture the future. Specifically, how you imagine the restored 1,000-year reign, what's often called the millennial kingdom. I mean, it raises the ultimate question, doesn't it? If the world is broken, how do you fix it? Well, the answer totally depends on how you think it got broken in the first place. That definition of the problem shapes the entire vision of the solution. So once again, we have these two competing visions. View one, the one where death was always natural, it pictures a perfected world. So non-resurrected people will live for a super, super long time, but they'll still age and eventually die. But view two, where death is a direct result of the curse. That imagines a completely transformed world, a reality where aging and death just gets switched off, not just for some, but for everyone and everything. Now, the people who hold to view one, they'll point you to scripture like this from Zechariah. It describes the restored kingdom as a place that still has very old people. So old, they need a staff to get around. That strongly suggests that aging, which is tied to mortality, is still part of the picture. But then, folks in the view two camp will come right back with a passage like this one from Revelation, which sounds like an absolute promise of a future with no death, no mourning, no pain. Period. So you see the tension, right? Both sides have verses they can point to. This table does a great job of just laying the whole thing out. Look at view one. Before sin, only Adam was deathless. The creatures still died. After sin, everything dies. And in the restored kingdom, only resurrected beings escape death. Now look at view two. See the difference? Before sin, nothing died. And in the restored kingdom, nothing will die. It's a fundamental clash over the original blueprint and the final destination. So you see, this isn't just some abstract debate for theologians. How you interpret the very beginning directly shapes what you believe about the very end. It gets right to the core of what our ultimate hope even looks like. It all boils down to these key questions. Is redemption about fixing up and perfecting the world we already know? Or is it about creating something totally new? Was physical death a bug that got into the system because of sin? Or was it a feature of the original design? And that internal battle, the desires of the flesh, is that something we're meant to conquer? Or will it be completely erased in a new kind of existence? And just when you think you've got it figured out, the source material throws in one last fascinating curveball. It suggests that even after the curse is lifted, even after the desires of the flesh are gone, humanity will face one final test. The freedom to choose, the call to obey, is still there, which implies that even in a perfect world, the possibility of another fall still exists, and it all hangs on that choice. And that leaves us with this final, massive question. Is the end game a return trip, a perfect restoration of the Garden of Eden, getting back what was lost? Or is it a fundamental upgrade, a transformation into something completely new, something even greater than the beginning? And the answer, it seems, all hinges on how you understand that first curse spoken over the ground all those years ago.